to follow the Noble Lord Davies of Brixton, and I think the word that he used, charade, is a real description of our current situation. And it's worth looking at the situation that in other debates in your Lordship's House we're going to see some very hotly contested discussion about the nature of our schools. We're seeing a lot of debate about the issues of mental ill health among our young people. Having at the foundation of these a charade, which is what it very clearly is it's not a good foundation. Now, I have to thank the Noble Lord Watson of Invergowrie for his kind words and apologise to the Noble Lord for leaving the chamber during his speech. If you do 3 bills in a row, you do have to time the comfort breaks quite carefully. So apologies for that. As with many people in the debate today, I am feeling a sense of déjà vu in thanking the noble Lady Baroness Burt of Solihull for bringing this bill, as I did 3 years ago, thank the noble lady. But I think the arguments for it now are clearer than ever.
Can I apologise? I omitted from my speech my thanks to the noble lady, and I just want to take the opportunity that thanks again to the noble Baroness for bringing this bill back.
Very happy to give way on that basis. So I do want to pick up some points made by the noble Lord Weir of Ballyhow, the bill that the noble Lord was describing really did not reflect the bill that I see in front of me previously. And I think the arguments that were made, the question of representing society, well, of course, this is not our society anymore. And if we look at the history, I thought it was interesting that the noble Lord talked about Judeo-Christianism as a foundation of democracy. Well, I'm not sure if the noble Lord knows that some of the earliest democracy in the world we know of was actually the old Assyrian Empire, well before even the ancient Greeks. So to make a claim of exclusivity to democracy, I think, really doesn't stack up. However, 3 main points I really wanted to make. We often hear about how much pressure there is on schools, how much difficulty they have in fitting in times for important lessons and activities. Well, here is a space, as a time which, for moral, spiritual and cultural development, we could be using far more creatively and using far better. As the noble Lady Baroness Burt said, learning about nature, a focus on nature, considering ourselves as human animals in a more than human world, all of these things which could be really creatively used in this time currently theoretically allocated for worship. The second argument we haven't made a great deal of today, but it's worth pointing out how the UN Committee on the Rights of the Child has said that the imposition of worship undermines children's rights under Article 9 of the Human Rights Convention and Article 14 of the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child. As I was saying in the first bill I was speaking in today, when we're seeing the rule of law, human rights, UN traditions under such pressure around the world, that really does help to build the case for this bill. And the fact is that a 2024 poll showed that a large majority, 70% of school leaders, oppose this collective worship. We have this provision, yet we know it's actually not being delivered. This is, as the noble Lord Davies said, charade. The UK is the only sovereign state where Christian worship is compulsory in state schools, including those without a religious character. We're talking about a law dating back to 1944. It really is time that we move on and we provide the care and support for our children. This could be a local theatre. This time could be when a local theatre group comes in and puts on a little play that then produces a moral conundrum that they could then discuss. As I said, it could be about nature, it could be lessons in first aid and how we might react if we're in a situation where first aid might be needed. These could be really useful things, education for life, not exams, that could use this time really well. And that's what the noble lady's bill is moving towards. So I can only finish by offering the Green Group's strongest possible support for this bill and very much to hope that it progresses.